Seeing the Wood and the Trees. Let's continue our discussion on this article by H.H. Stern, and we'll continue to see the language teaching analysis, the discourse of the language classroom. Right. So in this module, we'll continue to see the limitations of the classroom research. To what extent the classroom actually research is limited in terms of looking at, the teacher as a curriculum. In other words, at the grassroots level, right. So David Stern actually, in order to contextualize the discussion about the limitations of classroom research, it's been seen in the perspective of some of the changes and their emphasis on language teaching analysis. For example, how the review of method era actually paved the way for cognitivism and audiolingualism, which shifted the turn from focusing on language teaching to language learning. Actually, what goes on, the processes of the dynamics of language learning, right? So the process of language curriculum design, as you could remember well discussed in our previous modules, involve the needs analysis, the environment analysis, principles, goal settings, and format and presentation, content and sequencing, and evaluation, and the provision of good quality teaching. So these are the various variables which are involved, which we call curriculum design. But what's important is we need to see the implementation of these variables at the classroom level. Although the document is for broader perspectives for the reference of the institution, for the reference of teachers, but it's the teacher who actually makes the use of the curriculum at the classroom level, how they implement curriculum at the classroom level. For example, if the teacher is well equipped pedagogically, they know how to make the use of the principles of language teaching in order to teach, for example, the first conditional, so they might be better able to perform well in the classroom. And H.H. Stern, the researcher of this article, draws our attention towards that there is very limited research going on in this field, which looks at the connection between the implementation of curriculum at the grassroots, at the classroom level, right? So what the findings of the classroom research are about? They are about how to, draw policies, how to, make some theoretical approach towards looking at language analysis. So the theoretical framework looks at the concepts, looks at the policy directives, and looks at the classroom behavior. But there is much more to be examined, which is to see how actually the language learning takes place in the minds of the learners. This is important, and this needs to be identified by the teachers. And this is what actually the real manifestation of the curriculum is when we talk about the classroom language teaching analysis. So this is how we need to, the concept of Robert Anthony approach, method, and technique in order to, if we want to see the real implementation of the curriculum taking place in the classroom in its real spirit, we need to go beyond the notion of approach, method, and technique. We need to look at how, approach, method, and technique are okay. There is no problem with them, but we need to look at the processes of language learning which take place in the minds of the learners.